Hi there, and welcome to this third showcase video for my mass entity / Niagara system. Essentially, I'm trying to make a system for, say, RTS games in Unreal, probably starting out with more like tower defense like features because it's a lot simpler, but it's sort of on the same line. Let's talk less about it and let's just show you what I've got. So since last time where I was just spawning a bunch of units and they're colliding, we can now add like structures, and these are also mass entities. And you can see these units are spawning and they are pathfinding around the buildings as I place them and all running to one spot. Now, they're not that smart and they only have a separation steering behavior. They don't have avoidance, so they sort of get stuck in these lines. That's something I'm going to fix later. But I guess the focus of this is more just like adding the buildings and then the pathfinding involved with that, and also the spawning. Oh, there's a guy stuck up there. Strange. Clearly there's bugs to fix. Also, yes, the new spawner that I made that spawns units in batches. So like this is a wave. So say if you have a tower defense game and you have a wave, it's spawning it in batches, and I've set it in this case to 5 batches of 10 for 50 units. And then some time passes and then you get another wave that spawns. You'll see in a sec. How long did I set the timer for? There we go. Here's the second wave, the second set of units, another 50, blah, 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 blah. And you can configure that system any way you want, and so on. And as we add obstacles, units dynamically find their way. So let's see what's actually going on here. I'll turn on the debugging. So this is using flow maps. Obviously, flow maps are perfect for a tower defense game because all the units are going to one spot. It is capable of having like multiple different like destinations, sort of units choose which one they're going to go to. So I'll just turn on the debugging for this so you can have a look. This is going to slow it down because the debugging is really slow to draw all these arrows. But right now we've got a flow map, and as I add things, the flow map dynamically gets updated, as you can see there. And all the black cells are obstructed cells. So there is that. That is how that is working. The units now have a, as I said, it's going to get laggy with drawing all these debug arrows. The units have now a processor that instead of just like going straight towards the target destination, it has like a flow map fragment, and it has a processor that looks up the flow of the cell that it's on. Currently it's not interpolating, so unless the guys are directly on a line like this, you'll see them like wobble a bit as they go in between different sections. But you get the idea. So that is the flow map. The other thing that I implemented to try and make this whole system a lot quicker is a grid system. So I originally had an octree that was really unoptimized because I just threw in one of Unreal's octrees, but I didn't really want that. And to be honest, it should be a quad tree anyway because there's no, we're not using the Z dimension. But at the end of the day, I just went with grid cells because it's pretty basic. I think the quad tree is a bit overkill. Maybe I'll switch to a quad tree later, but as you can see, the blue cells here are the cells that are being occupied by a unit. And whenever the unit wants to do collision checks, they simply, they look at the cells around them to get their nearest neighbors instead of doing too much complex stuff. I wonder if you'll see it when the cells go a different color, like purple. That's basically there's more than one unit in that cell. So blue it goes from blue to red, basically cold to hot, based on the number of units in that cell. Obviously, you can't really get more than a certain amount because the separation is separating them. So that's how that is being done. Quick note on the buildings: they are also mass entities, except they are not using Niagara to render them. Oh, hello, we had some traffic up here. As I said, when I add the steering behaviors for avoidance, it should be a little bit better. They should like go around each other, but yeah, for now they just get stuck in lines like this. But yeah, so all of these buildings are also mass entities. They're using hierarchical instanced static meshes, but I'm not using the default one that comes with mass. I decided I'd use my own because I just don't need all the features for a building that's always going to be static. I don't need it to be able to swap between an actor. If I do, I might use those later, but yeah, that is kind of where that is at. So that is currently where the system is at. Obviously I can keep spawning tons and tons of things. It's getting closer and closer towards being, you know, usable for a tower defense game. I've got to add functionality for like structures to be able to sort of detect units in a radius and then get a target, then attack them, and give the structures ability to build, give the units ability to be killed, like being able to select units, build, well, I can already build stuff, but you know, a bit more complex than that. And then obviously when they reach their destination, player loses some score, just for a basic sort of tower defense sort of system. From there, I'll probably move on to more complex stuff in RTSs, because obviously this global flow map is not going to work too well for an RTS where you can send characters everywhere. It needs to be a little bit more complicated, that using a combination of A-star and flow maps. What do they call it? It's like partial flow maps or something like that. Anyway, thanks for watching. That's all I wanted to show you.